Australia's Reserve Bank meets tomorrow, and top of the agenda is likely when to raise interest rates. The bank's governor has admitted an increase later this year is, quote, plausible. That's likely to have big repercussions for the housing market, which has gone gangbusters over the past year. Roger Maynard reports from Sydney.
10, 1310, 12, sir. 1325. 1325. You're done.
You wouldn't think Australia's economic future was in doubt, given the frenzied auction Jerome Smith's running at this property in Sydney's western suburbs. There's money in people's pockets, and bidders are queuing up to buy, but at the right price. After a bumper 12 months, the market has softened slightly. The possibility of rising interest rates has worried some potential buyers, especially the young. Ashley and Celia are both looking for homes, but are worried about mortgage payments going up if they buy now. Equally, they don't want to rush into a purchase if rising interest rates send prices down.
You just never know. So it's kind of buy something now and risk not being able to service your loan in a year, or hold off and see what happens and potentially miss out on a really great place.
It's very tricky, and whether to buy or not buy, or go with the market or stay out and wait, it's very hard.
These young women are typical of thousands of Australians who are desperate to get on the first rung of the housing ladder but can't afford homes like this one, which auctioneer Tom Panis sold for more than 1.8 million Australian dollars. For many would-be buyers, purchasing now is a delicate balancing act.
Look, what we're experiencing now is I think that a lot of buyers are coming into the market and are trying to purchase prior to the interest rates going up. And the reason being is they're trying to lock in their rates now where they are, because they will go up.
Half an hour's drive away, auctioneer Michael Garofolo is on a roll. He's got at least half a dozen homes to sell today, and right now he's not too worried about a rise in the mortgage interest rate, which he believes the banks have already factored in.
It'll affect the ability for both homeowners and investors to borrow. So the less you can borrow, the less you can afford to buy. So yes, higher interest rates or dramatically higher interest rates will have an impact on prices. But at the moment, historically, you are still borrowing money very, very cheap.
While it's the Australian housing market that's likely to be most affected by a rise in interest rates, with homeowners having to pay more for their loans, there are other factors at play. The cost of living is rising, and while unemployment is low, wages have stagnated. In truth, the economy has fared moderately well in recent times, but there are concerns for the future. The Reserve Bank doesn't want to let the inflation genie out of the bottle, though it's already reasonably high at around 3.5%. Food prices are already rising in Australia because of bad weather, a shortage of workers on the land, and dearer fuel, which has added to transportation costs, though a temporary excise cut in last week's budget will ease the pain. Supply chain issues have created shortages too, while the war in Ukraine is also adding to economic uncertainty, which some economists believe actually reduces the likelihood of an imminent interest rate rise.
I think at one stage, late last year, they were planning to raise interest rates in the middle of this year. I think now with the Russia-Ukraine war and the uncertainty in the global economy, particularly in this Asia-Pacific region, they're going to be a little bit more reluctant to raise interest rates. They might actually hold off until the end of the year.
That might be comforting for Ashley and Celia, though some believe there's never been a better time to buy. Chris Popovaki and his partner Tina were certainly pleased to have bid successfully for this two-bedroom bungalow. But for others, the search continues. With interest rate and cost of living pressures to consider, it may be a long wait.
It's going. We're selling.
Roger Maynard, CNA, Sydney.